1920, and photos courtesy of the Turnbull Library of New Plymouth. This taken from the Curry Street intersection. A cricket game at New Plymouth Boys High School. A rowing boat on the lake at Pukekura Park. And the Band Rotunda in Kawaroa Park. It is also the year of the inaugural Taranaki Trotting Club's meeting on the 7th of February. A very enthusiastic set of officers led by President A.W. Webster, Vice Presidents Messrs A. Alexander and W.C. Watson, and D.C. Morgan in charge of secretarial work, oversaw the inaugural meeting. Deemed a raging success in the flourishing dairy province, attendance was very good, with gate takings amassing £120. And with already 250 yearly members at £1 each, the club is expected to have a very bright future. One pleasing feature noted of the first day was the fine spirit of sportsmanship shown by the Taranaki Jockey Club officials, who gave the use of their course free and placed all their appointments unreservedly at the disposal of the Trotting Club. We salute the Taranaki Trotting Club and their 100-year history.
And Howard Logan comes away, and Howard Logan is going to win the Taranaki Cup. Laureldale in no danger of defeat, and as expected, the people's favourite wins easily. But this Bonnie Trotter, French Past, is going to be too good. French Past wins the cup.
But here comes Reba Lord with a wet sail down the outside of the track. It surged to the lead. Reba Lord, he's definitely good. Reba Lord's come from a midfield position, goes on to score by half a leg. Second home, Bonnie Dean. Third is
Magpie, but Abdias. Abdias, have a look at a very good horse with 150 to goes, untouched by two lengths on Nero's Fiddle and Bologna Star. But he makes it 4 out of 4. Abdias wins it easily. 3 lengths on Nero's Fiddle. Bologna Star's run
third. Inside is Harmer's Choice. Smooth Gretna, Harmer's Choice, Abdias. And on the outside, Clever Clogs. They go to the line. And Smooth Gretna, that's the one that will win the Taranaki Cup. It's close for the miners. Clever Clogs, Harmer's Choice, Abdias.
Might get some of it. Sam Malone's kept up to its work by Mango. But Brinsley's coming at it now. Sam Malone's in front. Brinsley trying to claim it. But Sam Malone from Brinsley and Motorbell down the outside. Sam Malone wins the Lion Red Taranaki Trotting Cup in a photo. Motorbell, Brinsley. Along the is Falcon Rise though. Fast to La Vista, wide out, Ball of Lightning. Ruthless Red's got nowhere to go. Falcon Rise, Ball of Lightning's coming at it, but Falcon Rise wins the Taranaki Cup from Ball of Lightning. Night Brigade powered home for third, I'd say, from Ruthless Red. They were followed by Fast to La Vista, couldn't round it off today. Next over Ashcodell, followed through
up,
then
but Classy American still going well over Delightful Zen Marshall Star. Down the outside, Black Chevron, then Fleeting Grid, Mr. Harris late, deep on the Hilux New Zealand Rural Games passing lane. Beautifully executed. Dylan Ferguson drive will get the Revital Fertilisers Taranaki Cup for 2018 over Delightful Zen. Photos third. Marshall Star.
Even before, I've been 33 years running the club as a secretary, CEO or whatever you want to call me. But I was on the committee for about 5 years before then. And it's a real sense of achievement for anything to do 100 years. And there's been some trying times, but there's a heck of a lot of stories to be told.
Stories there will be, Kerry Hobbs, who inches closer to becoming the longest-serving administrator in New Zealand racing. And those Taranaki stories date back to the inaugural winner of the Taranaki Cup, an 8-year-old named Overate. In the subsequent 100 years, the race has produced many magical moments and hosted New Zealand champions of harness racing. Harold Logan, by the good American sire Logan Pointer, tasted success in 1930. He went on to win both the 1931 and 1932 New Zealand Cups and was an inaugural inductee alongside Cardigan Bay in the New Zealand Trotting Hall of Fame. New Plymouth Racetrack was part of New Zealand history in 1932, when win and place betting was introduced for the very first time. The Walter Direct sire Jack Potts stamped his mark on the Cup of the 1940s, siring the winner of 4 Cups. A prolific sire of winners, his most famous daughter of the time, Emulus, remarkably won £45,310 in stake money, and holds the 1948 Inter-Dominion Pacing title. The 1950s uncovered a real star, Laurel Dale. His Taranaki success was one of 14 New Zealand victories. A New Zealand record holder for a mile and 5 furlongs, he also ran second in Sohan Getaha's Auckland Cup of 52 and Thunder's New Zealand Cup of 1956. The very next year, 1957, it was a cup for the locals.
1957 Taranaki Cup trophy. Prince Dalala won it, and my dad had a share in it with Alec Corrigan and Vin Blore, I think, and Doug Mortlock, and Doug Grantham trained it at Normanby. And I can remember being here watching the race, 2 mile grass stand, and Doug Grantham drove it. And I was allowed to let it round, cool it off after it had been washed.
As a 10-year-old?
As a 10-year-old boy,
yeah.
And I can remember that. That was one of my first memories of harness racing, really. Along with going to the Easter trots in Hara, that was how I got to know about it. And we'd go out to Grantham's on a Sunday morning and watch the horses train. And it was big business.
The 1968 Taranaki Cup winner of 36 yards, trotter French Pass, held the distinction of being the New Zealand national trotting and Dominion handicap winner at the time. The Roy Mackenzie-owned trotter won 14 races in New Zealand and several in North America. The 1970s marked massive changes for the Taranaki Trotting Club. In 1975, the new Plymouth City Council, in conjunction with the Taranaki Trotting and Jockey Clubs, along with the A&P Society, granted approval for an $8 million development at New Plymouth Racecourse. New grandstands, stables and training facilities, including an all-weather training track, were all commissioned. The first mobile event on the new all-weather track, run on opening day 12th of April 1980, was surrounded by drama.
A local horse, a very good horseman called Rudy Zimmerman, who I think it was debuting it. It was a Mark Lobel horse who was the highest price lot at the sale 2 years previous, had his first start and fell, jumped the shadow, brought down most of the field, and unfortunately a bad accident to Colin Chandler, who broke his pelvis. So I was playing cricket, Andre, but I remember backing the horse, so you could blame me, because I used to drive it and work.
On the same night, racing officials foiled an attempt to get at the star of the show, Delightful Lady, when after swapping her stabling box as a precaution with the local galloper, they found that galloper, Flatuna, had mysteriously been released. Delightful Lady was vet-checked and cleared to race, but remarkably suffered her second successive defeat. To this day, her driver, Mike Stormont, still laments the drive.
She was expected to win that day.
Yeah, they'd made the colours, the big flower thing to go around the horse's neck and her colours and our colours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
Oh, bad drive. and a great man beat me, so Peter Wolfenden, so yeah.
When you say a bad drive, talk me through it. How bad a drive was this?
I think we had it easy in front and took it too easy. Just thought, oh yeah. And Wolfie come with a wet sail and nabbed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were confident, cocky, and got the best of you.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it's the only time it happened to me. Yeah. But didn't mind winning for Max Robinson and that, because he did a lot of travelling with us when we went to Christchurch a couple of times, and we were good mates. Yeah. But the flowers, that wrecked it for everybody.
With his nose decision in 1:59.8, Greg Robinson picked up a $2,000 bonus for bettering the 2-minute mile. This was the fastest and only sub-2-minute race time recorded prior to the 21st century. Delightful Lady and Mike Stormont put Greg Robinson in his place at their next meeting together, the 1981 Auckland Cup.
One on the inside, Royden's got Lacana down the outside. Delightful Lady and Lord Module, they're the two that are fighting it out. But Delightful Lady's got a run from Lord Module, sapling through home to take third. Ahead of Young Quinn and Royden's got Lacana. They were followed by Greg Robinson.
However, 11 months after beating Delightful Lady, Greg Robinson reduced the national record time in a time trial, recording 1:58.3. The 2-year-old 1 mile races in the 1980s were won by a number of top juveniles. Dylan Dean on the 6th of March 1987 recording 205.1. Nero Ship, the 18th of September 1987, 204.6. And the Unicorn, the 16th of December 1988, 203.2. From the end of the decade and beyond, the Taranaki Cup and Taranaki Breeders uncovered and hosted some classy open-class horses. The Butcher family favourite Abdias in the Taranaki Cup of 91.
He makes it 4 out of 4. Abdias wins it easily. 3 lengths on Nero's Fiddle. Balonus.
He had to win on the first day to get into the Taranaki Cup because it was a 3-win race, and I nearly messed it up. So yeah, I was a bit lucky. I sat in and I should have popped and gone to the top early, and I thought I'd try and teach him, and yeah, I was a bit lucky. I don't think Dad would have been too happy if I'd have missed. So yeah, that was the main reason he went down. And then after that, we got him to go right-handed, obviously, because he went up to Auckland and won some races up there. But yeah, because people used to ask, why aren't you going to Auckland? But the Taranaki Cup was a real good race. It was $10,000. You know, like back then was every bit as good as Auckland, money stake-wise, and there were some nice horses in that. So good race to win.
80s Prince of the Naki, Reba Lord.
But here comes Reba Lord with a wet sail down the outside of the track. It's surged to the lead. Reba Lord, he's definitely good. Reba Lord's come from a midfield position, goes on to score by half a leg.
Stephen Doody, here driving Good Authority in 92, has enjoyed great success at both driving and training at New Plymouth.
Majestic touch, Von Soki in front, 150 to go though. Loyal Mate coming fast, Dr. Vic on the outside, so is Kaiser. Von Soki, Kaiser and all right on the outside, Good Authority, and on the inside was Dr. Vic.
The 90s local queen was Smooth Gretna.
And on the inside is Harmer's Choice, Smooth Gretna, Harmer's Choice, Abdias, and on the outside Clever Clogs, they go to the line, and Smooth Gretna, that's the one that will win the Taranaki Cup. It's close for the miners.
He ended up shifting up here in New Plymouth, so we're both in the same spot as such. We started getting into horses, which had been a passion of his since all the way through, but being a usual dairy farmer, there wasn't room for horses and all that, so it wasn't until he sort of semi-retired that the horses came along. I think we were sort of in a bit of a spot with a lack of horses, and we went to the Karaka sales and bought Smooth Gretna there as a yearling, and that was sort of the start of the number of years we had with her. So, I mean, from there, I guess it's the usual when we did everything ourselves and broke her in and training and travelling all around the country, etc. But, unfortunately, sometimes a good one comes along, and she happened to be the good one that came along. Probably at the right time.
Leading trainer at New Plymouth of all time, Brent Mangos, was also in the sulky in Sam Malone's 1996 victory.
Brinsley's coming at it now. Sam Malone's in front. Brinsley trying to claim it, but Sam Malone from Brinsley and Motorbell down the outside. Sam Malone wins the Lion Red Taranaki Trotting Cup.
New Zealand Cup hero Home and Ho saluted in the Cup of 98. And subsequent Kaikoura Cup winner Falcon Rise looked the goods in the 2002 Cup.
Falcon Rise though, fast to La Vista, wide out, Ball of Lightning. Ruthless Red's got nowhere to go. Falcon Rise, Ball of Lightning's coming at it, but Falcon Rise wins the Taranaki Cup from Ball of Lightning.
A giant horse trained from the Taranaki backblocks, trained by a grandmother, driven by a one-time battler who was an Interminion champion and was a harness racing fairy tale. Yule Star won his first 4 races at New Plymouth.
Pocket me. Yule Star. Look at him come. Yule Star's into Dominion. Yule Star for the Kiwis has beaten at it again. Pocket me and Brady's fella.
Taranaki in lots of respects punches above its weight, and I think over the years particularly you've only got to look at Yule Star and some of those ones that have come out of Taranaki, and they've always been the people to go and give it a go on the big scene and have some success, so very proud of it. Yeah.
Remarkably, 24 years after Greg Robinson had set a 158.3 New Zealand time trial record at New Plymouth, Molly Darling equalled the same time in the 2006 Taranaki Breeders' Stakes.
Bromac, but Molly Darling, she's far too good. Make it win number 13 here in the hands of Brent Mangos. Second, Okiti Star. Third was Pace Away. They were followed by Tanya
In 2012, the Taranaki Trotting Club were applauded for hosting the Country Cup's final on grass. After less than a satisfactory beginning, Zanola Sealster overcame, giving the field a healthy start to brilliantly bury them in the home straight.
Zanola Sealster burst clear. Zanola Sealster from Better Dream running home pretty strongly. Zanola Sealster beats Better Dream on the razzle.
National record-holding mare Better Be Amazed was tested to the limit in the Taranaki Breeders' Stakes of 2015.
Woodland Stud, Taranaki Breeders, Better Be Amazed, Elisa Vita, Better Be Amazed, Elisa Vita, noses between them, Better Be Amazed, Elisa Vita, they hit it. Oh, I'm going to sit on the fence, get splinters, Better Be Amazed, and Elisa Vita, it's very, very tight. Mischief Maker.
In 2018, classy Americans swept all the Central Summer Grass Track Cups, Otaki, Stratford, and then Taranaki.
Deep on the Hilux New Zealand Rural Games passing lane, beautifully executed. Dylan Ferguson drive will get the Revital Fertilisers Taranaki Cup for 2018 over Delightful Zen. Photos third.
While emulating sire Jack Potts of the 40s, the Matt Scooter stallion Mac 3 has produced 4 of the last 8 Taranaki Cup winners, including last year's winner, the Nighthawk.
Line together, and it's the Nighthawk. The Nighthawk to just knock off West Star Sam. Ultimately only third, fourth home, rushing home. Bill Haley's been a run and a half. Ruby Star followed by Mr. Harris further away.
There have been many trainers based at New Plymouth over the years, with the late John Barry to everyone would currently holding the title of the most wins on the track by a New Plymouth-based trainer.
John Alfred Barry. He used to, his great line, and we're a family show, he says, I'm a mountain man, and then he used to say something else too, and that was his introduction to everyone. So he was larger than life, Woodsy. I had the honour to be his stable hand for a few years, 25 years ago, and he was just a great horseman in the old traditional horseman. I know he sent horses to great friends of his, Roy and Barry Purdon, and they didn't used to improve them much, and they're the leading trainers in New Zealand at the time. That's the sort of horseman Barry Wood was, and wonderful character.
However, just down the road, the Fleming family deserves special mention with their commitment to harness racing in the area, namely Laurie Fleming, who's had 12 wins on the track, Willie from Hawara with 9, and Brian and Phil with 6 apiece. The Fleming whānau stand alongside the likes of Dave Canby, Ian Martin and Taffy Bailey as Naki boys with wins on the track.
Yeah, well, I guess there's been a few of us around over the years. Predominantly probably Laurie, or Lawrence as we know him, and had 2 or 3 brothers, Brian, Richard and Will, who all had horses, all trained. And then the next sort of generation was myself. And then you've got Philip, another one, Tim is coming on. So yeah, it's at least it is carrying on as long as there's trotting in Taranaki.
Absolutely, and that rivalry I'm interested about. I think you're second on the all-time list of wins at New Plymouth behind Laurie.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised at that, but it's not until you go back through the photo album that you realise, oh yeah, that horse and that horse, yeah. Forgotten that you've had. So
we all drove our own horses at the time, and I can remember driving one of my first horses, Camric Lady. She was a big strong 2-year-old filly, and she got a overcheck caught in the wine-netting of the starting barrier, and that was quite exciting for a trainer driver to try and to get the horse off the gate when the gate had gone and it was still chasing it. And that horse, I had my first start with that horse, and I started her at Auckland. My first start as a trainer, I started that horse in Auckland on Auckland Cup night. And Rachel Hunter and Rod Stewart were there, and everybody. It was a massive night, and I had this 2-year-old filly, Camric Lady, and I put it in the 2-year-old race, and Colin Butler drove it. and he said to me, "What's it like?" I said, "It's very fast." He said, "Well," he said, "Son, you're in Auckland here, you probably won't keep up." She drew 9 and 1,700 metres, and she was 9 lengths in front when they turned for home for the first time, and they did 27 seconds or something for the first quarter. And Mark Purdon came round with a horse called Party Party and got in front of her, and she followed Party Party all the way, climbed in a sulky nearly, and she ended up 4th. So that was my first start as a trainer, so I thought I'd made it. And somebody came on and offered me $15,000 for her, and I thought, hell, I've only just started racing and somebody wants to take the horse off me, so I turned it down.
The Flemings themselves, was there a bit of rivalry going in, in that area?
Oh, no, there wouldn't be any of that, no.
Not sure I'm convinced about that, to be fair.
Oh, no, probably not. I mean, the game sort of is pretty, everyone helps one another, and that's probably been the same within the family. Lawrence did a lot for me when I started. He got us started and broke horses in and bred some through him and such like. So, no, they've all been helpful, really, rather than competitive, I suppose.
After 100 years of harness racing at New Plymouth, the most wins by a driver on the track stands at 95 by Maurice McKendry in front of Peter Ferguson's 81.
Got fond memories and career highlights at Taranaki, so my early days fond memories, 2 great Taranaki trainers, Ross Orr and Ian Taylor. Used to get up early every Sunday morning, much to Wendy's disgust, and drive down and drive at the workouts for those guys down there, and then drive home again after, so, and put in the hard yards, and so I got the results from a lot of Taranaki trainers, and which was great. And probably one of my career highlights when I was younger, as a junior driver, driving 5 winners at Taranaki on a day, and back when that was pretty hard to do, and, for guys that sort of supported me right through my career and still do now. So, yeah, fond memories and career highlights for sure at Taranaki.
Well, Maury, we're celebrating 100 years of the Taranaki Trotting Club, and you've been a massive part of it because your name's right at the top of the list as the most wins by driver.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, a bit surprising.
He was when Kerry rang you and said the numbers.
Yeah, I was, yeah. But no, I've had a good run down there. Used to enjoy my time going down there, and staying with Hobbsy and that, because he used to look after his boys pretty good. And then we'd go to Sporties, and so it was always an enjoyable trip.
They talk about that, the word hospitality comes through. The Naki boys just knew how to do it and hit the right buttons.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They, it was always, a good trip, and way back, and I used to get a few tips off Hobbsy from the golf.
Yes.
Which I wasn't that good, but playing with the cream of Taranaki, with Hobbsy and Wheels and Bing,
yeah,
Peter Bingham,
yeah,
and they were pretty good.
I think you felt a wee bit intimidated when they're smashing it 200 metres.
Yeah, they were smashing it down the park, and I thought, well, and mine was sort of wrapping around the first tree it come to, so it was a bit embarrassing.
But Hobbsy managed to iron out a few.
Yeah, well, he's given me a few tips, and it was quite good, but I was all right putting, but just that long stuff it wasn't that good. But and then other times we'd go, John Wheeler and Hobbsy would have me standing on the beach while they were getting some power.
Oh, perfect.
So they could get a few more when I was there, see.
Perfect.
It was good.
Mangos holds the distinction of training the most winners at 28 from Stephen Doody at 22 after 100 years of harness racing.
Well, Mango, 100 years of history at the Taranaki Trotting Club at New Plymouth, and the name BM Mangos right at the top of the tree in terms of number of successes on the training front.
Yeah, it's been a good in the past. Many years ago we used to take a group of horses down there. Half a dozen or a truckload anyway, and we had a bit of luck over the years, and it's been good.
The landscape's changed somewhat, obviously these days, but back then I guess there's a lot of camaraderie and I guess a lot of Naki hospitality.
Oh, it was. They're great people to have a club there. Tony Walsh was actually Tony and Jan Walsh. they had the bar down at Fitzroy, and everyone used to sort of go there for the barbecues in the middle of the day, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, always enjoyed ourselves.
Always interesting because you're family off the track, but on the track it's fairly competitive.
Oh, for sure, you know, it's the same everywhere still nowadays, you know, very competitive on the track, but yeah, it was always a place you'd like to go for a couple of days and a couple of days off on it. It was great.
You didn't mind sending a couple of your nice ones down. Let's talk about Molly Darling.
Yeah, yes, obviously she's the best horse back in those days that we had, and yeah, she won the mile. It was a mare's mile back then. I'm not quite sure how quick she went, but yeah, it was a good stake too back in those days, and yeah, we also took Sam Maloney. He won the Taranaki Cup one year, and he was a good horse, and he went on to be a free-for-all horse, and yeah, they were good horses to take at those places, you know, when you look back at it now, you know, they were a street above the rest of them that they were racing against. I didn't really know at the time, but it's probably why I'm leading trainer.
We've been very fortunate that we have the cream of North Island trainers have often brought teams down here, and I'm talking about Brent Mangos, he's the leading trainer there. We used to have Morris McKendry and Tony Hurley, who were the icons of drivers there. They used to come down. And I always remember we were starting to struggle, and I said to Tony, he had no horses, and I said, you better come down and drive and help us out, we're not going too good. So he came down, and I did his drives for him. He got tipped out 3 times. And I think it cost him 2 pairs of pants. He ripped his pants to shreds, but he hadn't come back very often.
So a look down 100-year memory lane of the Taranaki Trotting Club. Years of achievement, performance, character, humour, and some good old Naki hospitality.
And being a rural community at large around Taranaki too, there was a lot of people that, farmers, etc., that had a harness horse, you know, like, and they drove it or they trained it, and so that's where the great stories, I believe, come from, is around the district, the people who've been involved simply because they had a paddock, they had an interest, they got involved and trained and drove their own horse, and I'd imagine that would be a fantastic thing to do.
One, Todd Mitchell used to come with me on a Sunday quite often, and we'd go down and drive at the trials. But and you know, back in the day when everyone had a little bit more time, we used to travel and stay, and you know, Taranaki, great hospitable people, you know, like barbecue in between, you know, nothing was a problem. But unfortunately, everyone's lives are really busy now, and that doesn't happen as much. So, but which is a sad part of the industry, but you know, it's a fact of life, unfortunately.
You know, there was a few characters. What was that guy? There was a guy from Northland used to come down here, hustling, driving fella.
Neil Brady?
Neil Brady. Neil Brady. I can remember him now. He was here. He used to stable in here somewhere.
I don't know how I guessed that.
But
yep.
That's who it was. Yeah, Neil Brady. I remember him. He came out and blew everybody away here one week.
And what was the upshot? Did he continue to keep coming and smashing?
He kept coming, yeah, he did. He did keep coming. The Butcher boys always came down. I can remember when the whole lot of them came down, and they got first, second, third, fourth and fifth in one race. And David didn't. I always tried to get David to drive for me, and I always dealt with him. He would stay with me when he came down here, which was great. And the camaraderie and hospitality that we showed and had was second to none. You know, I never heard a bad word or a grizzle or a grump or a bitch, or nobody was unhappy any of the time. That was the best part about it. You could just do your work and sing along, and everybody was joined in. There was no problems.
The amount of people that put in time and donated to get Taranaki harness up and going was fantastic in the 40 years that I've been involved in it. But there's some real characters in amongst them. We could take probably a whole series, a mini series on some of the people and some of the stories to tell.
And Howard Logan comes away, and Howard Logan is going to win the Taranaki Cup. Laureldale in no danger of defeat, and as expected, the people's favourite wins easily. But this Bonnie Trotter, French Past, is going to be too good. French Past wins the cup.
But here comes Reba Lord with a wet sail down the outside of the track. It's surged to the lead. Reba Lord, he's definitely good. Reba Lord's come from a midfield position, goes on to score by half a length. Second home, Bonnie Dean.
Magpie, but Abdias. Abdias, have a look Look at a very good horse with 150 to goes, untouched by 2 lengths on Nero's Fiddle and Bellona Star. But he makes it 4 out of 4. Abdias wins it easily. 3 lengths on Nero's Fiddle. Bellona Star's run third.
Inside is Harmer's Choice, Smooth Gretna, Harmer's Choice, Abdias, and on the outside, Clever Clogs, they go to the line, and Smooth Gretna, that's the one that will win the Taranaki Cup. It's close for the miners, Clever Clogs, Harmer's Choice, Abdias.
Might get some of it. Sam Malone's kept up to its work by Mango, but Brinsley's coming at it now. Sam Malone's in front, Brinsley trying to claim it, but Sam Malone from Brinsley and Motorbell down the outside. Sam Malone wins the Lion Red Taranaki Trotting Cup in a photo. Motorbell, Brinsley. Along the is Falcon Rise though, fast to La Vista, wide out, Ball of Lightning. Ruthless Red's got nowhere to go. Falcon Rise, Ball of Lightning's coming at it, but Falcon Rise wins the Taranaki Cup from Ball of Lightning. Night Brigade powered home for third, I'd say, from Ruthless Red. They were followed by Fast to La Vista, couldn't round it off today. Next over Ashcodell, followed through
up, but Classy American still going well over Delightful Zen Marshall Star. Down the outside, Black Chevron, then Fleeting Grid, Mr. Harris late, deep on the Hilux New Zealand Rural Games passing lane. Beautifully executed. Dylan Ferguson drive will get the Revital Fertilisers Taranaki Cup for 2018 over Delightful Zen. Photos third. Marshall Star and dashing on the Hilux New Zealand.